start with a 3.8 kilometer swim, 2 laps of 1.9 kilometers. A big warm welcome to you all, ladies and gentlemen. I hope to see you all very, very shortly. They'll be coming out of the water after finishing 1 lap very quickly and then going straight back in to do.
This is 6:30, 30 minutes ago to swim start. I can actually still go for a quick jump into the water to acclimatize, so I'm gonna do that. Wish me good luck, nervous, but as always, let's do this, right? Peace. That was a pre-swim, still dark. I've got screen goggles, but I hope it's gonna get brighter, otherwise I'm gonna swim in the pitch black. Anyway.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome once again to 28th edition of the Ironman Lanzarote. We haven't got time. There's no 5 down. Let's count downwards. We're just going to shoot and start. A big round of applause for Canon G7X. The man of the heart of the Ironman.
Hello and welcome back, everyone. How are you doing? This is post-race Dan, giving you a bit of a race recap. But first, let's wait for the swim start, shall we? Given my 2 practice swims leading up to the race, plus the fact that it was a mass swim start, I was very, very nervous. Having talked to a few people pre-race, they told me the way to the first buoy can get quite messy. So I positioned myself to the far right to avoid all of that craziness that you can probably see is going on the far left corner. I have got to say it was not as bad as I imagined it would be, at least from getting punched and kicked or whatsoever. However, the first few 100 meters I struggled getting into any rhythm, and believe it or not, I was questioning if I'd even get past the swim and if that was my Lanzarote 2019 experience. The way I got rid of those moments of doubt was to calm my swim down massively. I reduced the stroke rate, just focused on breathing in, very relaxed. That worked, but it still felt like a hard swim. Let me talk you through this swim course. It was a 2-lap, 1900 meter each, with an Australian exit. 150 meters to the first yellow buoy, then about 750 meters parallel to the beach, where the water was the choppiest, 150 meters back towards the beach against the current, then 850 meters back to the swim start. Talking about the current, from the second yellow buoy to the third yellow, towards the kids floating playground, I was hardly moving at all. The water was so crystal clear, you could see the ground, but you could also see yourself or myself not moving at all. I tried to catch some legs, but I'm not sure if that helped at all. You can also see how people are getting pulled back into the ocean on the straight back. You literally had the red buoys as a guidance, or just like this one did, just swim closer to the shore. As long as you keep the 4th yellow buoy to your right, you're fine. I don't actually know if it's better to swim closer to the shore in more shallow water or closer to the red buoys. Any thoughts? Sighting, compared to Kalmar, a piece of cake. You can see the sun wasn't an issue here as it was still rising, and the buoys were very clear. The playground in the water at buoy 3 was very helpful as an orientation point, and as you were swimming back, you could target that big white hotel right next to the swim start. Yet, even I was able to see, being short-sighted and not wearing any lenses. So off to the end of lap 1. Huge kudos to the man behind the camera, Ralph. Is anyone actually able to spot me in the crowd of swimmers? Similar to Ironman Kalmar, I opted for not wearing a watch on the swim just because there's a risk that it puts me off and gets into my head like on the bike. But what you'll see on lap 2 is that there was a big fat timer right next to the exit, so that strategy clearly didn't work. Off to do another lap, whilst the pros, as you can see over here, are already getting closer to finishing their lap number 2. The fastest male swim of the day was just under 50 minutes, female under 54 minutes. If you ask me what the trickiest bit of the swim was, I'd say it was the part between buoy 1 and buoy 2. Not because of the current, it was because of the waves. I once saw myself slipping to the far left side. They've got a rope connected between all the white buoys, and this is where it gets very, very crowded. I'd recommend swimming further to the right, get a better, more relaxed swim, maybe a few more waves crashing into your face. And one more lesson learned, when you sight into a wave, clearly not ideal, so learn to time your sighting. On a different note, aren't those mountains in the background just absolutely beautiful? Alright, coming out of the water a bit lost but also relieved. And there you see the watch, by the way. 1:19, nothing to compare, so it is what it is. Retrospectively, I would have loved to see the GPS data, just to see did I actually swim like a little bit more, because of the distance I covered by swimming to the far right. Well, it is what it is. Don't ask me why I had a sip of water. I can't remember a race where I was offered one, so part of my British identity thought it is rude then to not accept if someone offers you a drink, isn't it? Coming out of transition, luckily T1 and T2 the same, we pushed our way up to the main road and we went, yes, on a stunning, evil, nasty, crazy long 180k around the island of Lanzarote. Based on my experience on the day, plus the data that I looked at post-race, I would like to split the bike into 6 parts. Let's get straight into the first one, shall we? The first 15 kilometers led us out of Puerto del Carmen and up towards Vega de Togoyo. All uphill, a bit of zigzag. It didn't look like what you can see here. It was more like this one over here. Crowded as the road was fairly narrow, no main road, and given that the wind was coming from the north, pretty much all against it. I do still remember quite a lot of people being in full TT position, myself included, going probably 14 miles an hour, but you wouldn't want to sit upright either, just because you would be fully exposed to the wind. I remember looking at my watts average, which got me slightly concerned. At bits I was averaging 280 watts, my FDP is 300-ish. My plan was to ride conservatively to make sure I was not blowing up on the run. Easier said than done if you're riding against the will and uphill. I do not remember a huge amount of that bit, other than that long, beautiful straight leg through the Volcano National Park, which, to be fair, was absolutely stunning. Compared to Kalmar or Hamburg, where all my bike rides were fairly crowded, Lanzarote felt refreshingly lonely. There were other cyclists, of course, too, but overtaking and avoiding drafting was fairly straightforward. Well, except the few uphill bits where it got more crowded and there was a bit of blocking going on, but again, no big issue. In terms of watts, this section was very controlled. I'd say a normalized power of 230 watts. Before the race I was told that this is where the Ironman actually starts, so I should make sure to have enough energy left. Retrospectively, I don't know. I feel like that entire race requires a lot of attention and energy. It's such a diverse course with many different challenges. And of course, like the 2 big climbs, they stand out. They are hard, but they're also very beautiful. On this climb, I do remember like there's one cyclist who I went past and she said to me, "Isn't this beautiful?" And I couldn't agree more. Keep in mind, you know, when you are struggling or going like through rough patches on an Ironman bike ride, I feel it is a privilege to be healthy, to be able to compete and to experience all of those moments. That most certainly helps me to keep pushing and just enjoy, you know, vice versa. Mentally, I knew, or at least I thought I knew, that once I got past this climb, it'll be all downhill back to T2 and tailwind only. Well, little did I know. But back to this section. Already 4 hours into the ride, a nearly 7 kilometer climb averaging at around 270 normalized power. That is fun. On that climb, I remember it being fairly crowded. And yeah, the first time officials actually started shouting to other cyclists. So yeah, this climb is also supposed to produce like those epic and very famous finisher pics with scenic view. Well, except mine. I got the paint face one. I remember I was not able to enjoy the view that much. It was all about climbing and pushing those squats. Still absolutely stunning. Looking at it post-race in those videos. Seriously, was this bit really necessary, Ironman Lanzarote? You kind of know it's all straight back home from now on, and then they take you on, yeah, this extra bit north against the wind again, which seemed like never ending. It made my head go crazy. You could see other cyclists already coming back. Evil. I found it just very evil, and I was fuming internally. I just wanted the race to be over, the bike ride, and I can still feel how it made me upset. I'm getting a little bit upset now, but yeah. Retrospectively, I figured I was undercarved. 10 cyst gels plus a few mashed bits of potato and 4 short vlogs were not enough for the 6 hour and 40-ish bike ride. The nutrition strategy that I went for worked out for well for a 5-hour Kalmar and Hamburg ride, but not for Lanzarote. I need to look into a new product, as my gel bottle also didn't fit like more than 10 cyst gels anyway. It was all downhill from here. We could kind of like see Puerto Lake Carmen in the distance. I will do a separate lesson learned video on Ironman Lanzarote, but one final note on the bike. Knowing the bike course gives you a massive advantage, most of all mentally here. The course never gave me a chance to settle mentally. When I thought, you know, it's gonna be easy, downhill, fast, there was just another windy uphill section. At some point during the race, I also remembered myself saying, "Never again, Dan." You know how time changes things, don't you? So it's alright. Alright, enough bike. Let's see how much was left in my legs. Okay, I was gonna walk the marathon, but then Ralph caught me and screamed at me, so I thought I might as well run a bit. Run to, yes, the next toilet. With no knowledge on the portal it was on the road, I thought it might be a good idea to start the long run with an empty bladder. There is plenty of loose on the course, even like those open ones, like for us blokes. Anyway, the run was a 3-lap course with 1 lap being a half marathon all the way along the coast past the airport and back to the start line, and then followed up by 2 10k laps with like a turnaround point at 5 kilometers, which I found really nice to break it up mentally. So if you're wondering why I'm all white in my face, there were plenty of volunteers in transition 2 in the tent offering to put sunscreen on your face and body. And I was also wearing a white suit, right? While Nikki Bartlett, the female winner, congrats Nikki, was on her final lap, I was out on my first lap. And shortly after, Fredrik van Lierde finished Ironman Lanzarote as the fastest athlete in a time of 8:51. Nikki finished in 9:59, by the way. I am still wondering though why Van Leer there did this shh when he finished. Was that to silence his critics? Well, that's me coming back from the long first lap. My strategy for the run was, well, run controlled and as steady as possible for as long as you can, and make sure to hydrate and fuel up on the aid station. It was a flat course running next to the ocean most of the time, but there was still 330 meters of elevation, smaller, nastier climbs that added up. Hamburg was 120 meters and Kalmar 200 meters for your information. I remember saying to myself, finish this long first lap and then just let's see how I feel afterwards. From then on, it's only 2 more laps. I've never said to myself, I have to run a marathon. Like for me, it's all about finish the Ironman. 2 more laps to go from here on. It's worth mentioning how incredible all the volunteers and support were like along the run course. Huge thanks to everyone out there who supported us athletes. Of course, my friends and family, and all of you like who crossed your fingers. You guys count as well. Thank you very, very much. Alright, lap 2 coming to an end. I felt a few niggles on my foot, but otherwise I felt okay. 1 more lap, finish line in sight. Soon to be reunited with my friends and family. Credits to my friend Ralph, who ran with me for a few meters and filmed it on the GoPro. Please also ask him why he bothered asking me about the German Cup final game. Ralph, I couldn't care less about Munich, you know that. Anyway, I'll shish now and let you experience how, you know, the last 10k, how I look like on the last 10k on that stretch of the run course Ironman Lanzarote.
Nimm mal lang, Dani, nimm mal lang. Halt es durch, das Ding.
Wie geht's euch?
Alles gut, alles gut.
Ist okay?
Ja. Sind gerade angekommen. Für den Zieleinlauf sind die gekommen.
Ah, okay.
Bayern gegen Leipzig fängt jetzt an, Dani.
Wer hat bei den Frauen gewonnen?
Die blau angezogene.
Mark Talent?
Nein. Ich glaube, es war eine Engländerin, kann das sein?
Okay.
Bin mir nicht sicher. Der zweite war ein Deutscher von den Männern.
Wer?
Ja, wie heißt
Grädert.
der? Grämer,
Grädert.
irgendwas mit K. Grämer oder ja, was weiß ich. Und der dritte war ein Einheimischer. Irgendein Spanier, glaube ich. Ja, ja.
Und bei dir sonst?
Ich habe einen Guinness getrunken, aber ich will die damit nicht aufhalten.
Das heißt nur noch
Durchkommen, nein, durchkommen.
bis zum 5 Kilometer und dann der Rest ist Schaulaufen.
Ja, genießen. Die letzten Meter.
Solange die Beine noch tragen.
Versuch's zu genießen irgendwie, ja, zum Schluss. Wir versuchen auf die Tribüne zu kommen. Wenn nicht, stehen wir an dem Punkt, wo wir gerade waren, Dani. Mach's gut, bis nachher.
Danke dir.
Ciao.
The last 2 kilometers were very emotional for me. Many events from the past flashed up. I did get a sudden boost of energy. I felt super strong, happy, and yet just proud. Proud that I did it. And just like Ralph said, I was able to enjoy those moments. With the finish line in sight, post-race Dan is saying goodbye. Hope you enjoyed that vlog. Thank you for watching. And should you ever wonder if you should do Ironman Lanzarote, please go for it. It's memories that will stay for you for the rest of your life. Especially finishing to Vanilla Ice.
Dorsal 314, Formiga.
¡Bravo!
Dorsal 875, sí. Dorsal 307, entrando en meta hora. Dorsal 752, Ash.
post-race. There it is. An unpredictable and a red hand. And this thing over here, which is the also famous finisher band. Anyway, an unpredictable race. I talked to someone who's like at the swim start who did it like the 13th time in a row. And he just said, like after the race, I met him as well, that it was the toughest one that he's done so far. I'm just glad it's over. I give you more details. It was a tough swim, a brutal bike, and surprisingly I got on really well on the run. Got no times, didn't look at the watch, just tried to finish. That was all that mattered, and I did. So very happy. Alright, there's no Ironman video without the finish line. That's where I'm heading now, and I know I look like a proper gangster here. I'm shivering a bit. Took a shower, had a bite to eat. Meeting my friend Ralph, who I'm gonna send huge kudos for all the amazing footage and for showing up spontaneously. Again, all 3 ones. So, I'm heading down to the run route now, some turnaround. You see a few runners still finishing. It is close to 10, so 2 more hours until they're closing off. Well, there they are, eating pizza.
Nobody hungry today.
The road. Come on, Ange. Keep going, darling. And you are an Ironman woman.
10 minutes to midnight where they'll be closing off the finish line. Not the same vibe, but still good. We're missing you, Paul K! Let's make the most out of it. Good old benches like in Kalmar. She's killing the battle. Great, look. Da scheint nicht die Sonne.